Hello, my name's Cathy and I've been looking after the Dickens garden for 5 years now, and the challenge is to keep it as a garden that Charles Dickens would recognise, and also hopefully he would approve of the planting in the garden. To do that, I've drawn on the plants that he chose himself when he lived at Gad's Hill in Kent, and also what we famously know about Charles Dickens with his rose buttonholes and so on. So here we've got a hydrangea. These are the main established plants that we have here. And we've actually got 4 of those throughout the garden, and I'll point them out as we go through. And they do very well here. They produce lovely white flowers. Over here we've got a dusky pink camellia, which we know Dickens had at Gad's Hill. Sometimes it's difficult to get the same plants because he did have apparently a big conservatory there, whereas here everything's got to be hardy for the winter. And we're also growing on a small white one so that we'll have 2 camellias very soon. The next thing of interest is the roses, which we know Dickens loved those in his lapel. This is actually the Charles Dickens rose, just coming out into bloom. This is the best spot in the garden, and it's the only spot that rose will thrive. It just sulks if I try and keep it anywhere else, so it's got the best spot it could possibly have in the garden, which I think we're probably all pleased about. The thing we all know about Charles Dickens, of course, is his love of geraniums, and this is the Charles Dickens geranium. It's quite an unusual one because it's got both cream and green leaves, and you can just see it's just starting to flower now. It's a lovely, well, it's quite an orange flower there. That we have that every year to remember Charles Dickens. The trough on top of the wall there, those will be red geraniums, trailing geraniums, again for Dickens. And the theme very much this year, as most years, is going to be geraniums, because they certainly do like this garden. We've just got some here, just coming out, and there'll be plenty more. And then finally, coming over to the corner here, this is what I call Christmas corner, because we've got a massive holly tree here that's absolutely huge. And underneath it, you can see we've got plenty of ferns, which seem to be ideal for planting around the tree. Dickens, we know from Gad's Hill, was very fond of ferns, and he would take cuttings from the ferns for his rose buttonhole as well. So we make sure we always have ferns there. There is one little secret here. If you can see this little one, that's actually a white fern, which is quite unusual, and it's called a ghost fern. So I thought, in keeping with the Christmas theme for Dickens, a ghost fern in there would probably be very appropriate, and it'd probably make him smile. And one last secret in the garden. We started out talking about hydrangeas, and I said there were 4. There were 2 of the very big, well-known ones. The one over in the corner, which is growing up the wall, that's a climbing hydrangea, and that's slowly coming on. This one, I only planted this last autumn, and it's very, very happy there. It's doing really well. The secret is it's got very, very different leaves to what you'd normally expect in a hydrangea, and it will flower in a completely different colour, but I haven't told anybody yet. I'm going to wait until it happens and see what people say about it. I think it will be quite spectacular. And then, I mean, finally, I would say I've probably got the best job in the museum, I think. I just love doing the garden. It's so very peaceful, it's always green, and visitors do seem to like it.